First and foremost, I understand it's not the way you wanted this election to pan out. If you can just, tell me how you're feeling, in these moments.
Well, certainly I'm disappointed. I knew we had an uphill battle. Um, Marketing was preeminent, so I couldn't match the marketing effort of a car dealer over the year. But it doesn't change how I feel about El Paso. It's been an interesting, very tough 2 years. As I've said on occasion, I feel like Mayor Pinata, so I'll just continue with that. But the bottom line is, I love El Paso. As I've said before, El Paso gave me roots, and I'm going to continue to serve and be a part of this community. We still do Operation Noel. I'll still be involved in other things to the extent I can and help in economic development, which is the only thing that's going to change our tax base ultimately. And I still have connections in the legislature and throughout the state and in Washington. So whatever I can do to help, I'm going to do.
And I feel like you've hit the nail on the head there, saying it's been a difficult 2 years because you're a mayor that no other mayor in El Paso has had to deal with. You had to deal with, the migrant surge. You had to deal with the August 3rd mass shooting, and now you had to deal with the pandemic. So if you could just walk me through what these last 2 years have been like, and if you can just reflect on your time in office with that.
Well, somebody asked me about, I've been asked to be on panels related to crisis management. And I've said before, I'm not sure I know how to do crisis management. I'm just a survivor of crisis. So we learned what we had to learn during the immigration, when we were called ground zero for immigration. The August 3rd, I don't think anybody would ever want to go through. And the number of funerals I went and the attack on who we are as a community, I will never forget. I will still have personal feelings and probably scars as a result of that. And then we get into this pandemic, and we've done the best we could given the changing protocols with safety, etc. But I want to compliment the Emergency Operations Center and our designated public health authority, Dr. Ocaranza, who's done a magnificent job. And I think we're starting to plateau, hopefully. And if people will continue to wear masks, and maintain distancing, and wash their hands, we'll get through this together once the vaccines are distributed.
Yes, sir. It's very easy for somebody, at home watching to play Monday morning quarterback and say, I would have done this differently, I would have done that differently. But I do think a lot of people may have a similar question here, and I think some people may be wondering if you feel maybe the rift between you and the county judge may have had any sort of impact with tonight's election.
Well, I think it was more of a perception of the rift. The issue was we had conflicting orders. The city was stuck between, and I've told the judge that. And of course, he's been at my last two press conferences. But it was a matter of determining what legally the city could do. On one hand, we had the judge who is above me in the legal hierarchy in the state of Texas, and then above him is the governor who had different orders. So it was a matter of sorting out as to what is legal for the city to do, and that was the only dilemma. And when we sorted that out initially, the judges said support the county judge, which we did, and then the 8th Circuit Court of Appeals overturned that. So it was a matter of that conflict, and I think we had a little disconnect on communication. That I regret that I didn't hear from him more clearly. I think he thought I understood what was going on, and quite candidly, I did not.
We've all seen the attack ads from both sides. It's politics. We see mudslinging on both sides of the aisle. But now that everything's over, now that the election is done, what's your hope for Oscar Leeser going forward?
Well, I want to go forward. I don't want to go backwards. And it's going to be up to him to complete the projects that have been started. And one of the most notable, is once we're financially capable of doing it, is the public safety bond. That's absolutely critical. And if there's any signature project of my term, I would say that was it, which we passed a year ago for $413 million for public safety, which is critical to this community and our growth. So he needs to make sure that is implemented, but that is mayor and council.
Off the top, he told me, you're not going anywhere. You've always been a part of this community. You're still going to, of course, continue to be a part of this community. I guess just your message here for El Paso, now that we're, turning a page on this chapter in terms of leadership.
Well, you always hope you're not going to be condemned for what you did during your period of time. I'm I'm optimistic that people will look at it and see that it did the best we could given the circumstances that we were surrounded with. And but this is a great community, and we need to continue to convey who we are and where we are and what we're all about. I mean, that was my biggest challenge as mayor, was trying to explain to people, given all that we were going through, was where El Paso is. I mean, there were more national media anchors who didn't know where the heck we were, and that's disappointing, because that affects everything, including economic development. So it's up to all of us to convey that positive message, because there are many positives here with our community and our workforce capabilities and all that's going on.
Will we be interviewing you again in 4 years? Will you be planning on running again for mayor's office?
No, I'm going to be a full-time grandfather and a part-time golfer. Okay.